We have breaking news. Morocco has charged more than 2,400 people following a wave of youth-led demonstrations that swept across the country this month. Prosecutors say that 1,473 of those arrested are still in custody, facing charges including incitement, vandalism, armed rebellion, and violence against public officials. The protests were driven by a decentralized movement of young people known as Gen Z 212, named after Morocco's country code. They were organizing on TikTok, Discord, and Instagram. The demonstrations began as peaceful rallies calling for dignity and investment in public services. But in several cities, the nights shifted into clashes with police, burned cars, and smashed storefronts. At least 3 people were killed and dozens more have been injured. Authorities say that their response was lawful and necessary to restore order. Protesters and rights groups argue the crackdown was broad and indiscriminate, sweeping up students, young workers, and bystanders who weren't even involved in any violence. At the center of this unrest is a demand to rebalance the social contract. Young people are calling attention to overcrowded hospitals, under-resourced schools, rising living costs, and unemployment. They question major government spending on large infrastructure and international events, especially projects tied to the 2030 World Cup, while essential public services struggle. For many, this is not about ideology or party politics. It's about daily conditions and a sense that the future is just slipping away. The state's judicial response has been swift. Courts have already convicted more than 400 people, with some sentences reported as high as 15 years, while others received suspended terms. Hundreds more cases are still pending. Human rights organizations warn that Morocco may be blurring the line between prosecuting violent acts and criminalizing dissent. Families of the detainees say they have limited access to case information, and lawyers are requesting greater transparency in how arrests and hearings are being handled. Government officials have signaled openness to dialogue, acknowledging that young people are facing real economic pressures, but no clear policy shift or investment plan has yet been announced. The core question now is whether the government chooses reform, particularly in healthcare, education, and job creation, or continues to rely on arrest and rapid prosecution to maintain control. This moment is significant because it marks a generational change. Gen Z in Morocco is digitally connected, politically aware, and unwilling to remain silent. They are not tied to traditional leadership structures. They are connected by shared frustration and a shared insistence on dignity. What happens next will determine whether this movement fades or becomes a long-term force shaping Morocco's future.